We are on Girard and East 150th Street. This is the Success Academy, Bronx, kindergarten through 12th grade campus. Brand new building, brand new construction. Looks like everything from the street, as you can see, this street has not been renovated, but it looks like everything, as you can see, from the piping, the plumbing, the electrical, from this street, even the building across the street has been renovated, right? The crosswalk. This is a spot check because I don't believe that skating is all about grinding, even though this is rough masonry and concrete masonry, and it can be sanded and it can be waxed and grinded. I do believe that it creates potentials for a lot of unique and cool challenges. You've got cameras up here, you've got a big camera here, but the first thing I see already is a challenge to gap over this section here. Hey buddy. All right. I believe there are ledges on the top that are a lot better. If I hop over onto this property, I'm sure it's going to be a trespassing violation, but I just want you guys to see what we're looking at, what we're dealing with. Let me see how this gate opens. This gate bends like so, but it's part of a chain. So this allows me, now I'm going to put my mask on. This allows me very brief access into the property, just so you can see what we're dealing with. Beautiful architecture. This you cannot skate necessarily. And this is very smooth masonry. You get up here, definitely can be waxed. Definitely creates a cool challenge to jump and grind. Definitely this makes it impossible to skate and or gap out. But I love that this challenge to gap out still exists. Again, there is a camera here. There's a camera here facing the building. There are two cameras on that corner. There's a camera on that top there. There looks like there's lights on the roof. But this is a challenge I love here. It's very high, but you can also roll and gap out. And if you want a smaller challenge, you can roll here and gap out. This is for both BMX and inline. This is probably a pretty cool one here, even though there's trees and vegetation in the way. Hop, roll, gap out. This one probably more of a Sean Darst kind of challenge, or even a big boy challenge, because this is a little bit high to jump over and land on that platform and gap out. You have the same challenge here with a lot of smooth runway. Gap to that platform, gap out. I don't know what's in this direction. Oh yeah, that's another really big challenge. Imagine, as a BMXer or whatever, skateboarder, you put a piece of wood here, right? Just imagine you're coming and you're gapping out in that direction. Imagine that ledge just rolling and gapping out. It doesn't have to be all grinding, right? So let's get out of here the way we came in. This looks like some sort of utility, right? Or just imagine gapping over the gate. You've got a drain here, a metal drain, and you've got a curb, right? So this makes it difficult. So this is a trip hazard, right? You can stop your feet right here, boom, boom. Rail, gap over, or just completely roll, gap into the street. Rail's very durable. I personally would put a piece of wood down here, roll and gap to one of these platforms, or try to gap straight over the fence. Even gapping over this somehow and landing on that obstacle would be pretty cool. But yeah, this is 101 East 105th Street. Beautiful architecture, beautiful stone and masonry work. Nice sturdy aluminum or some sort of alloy metal handrails, right? This is how I was able to enter. I'm gonna pull this back for safekeeping, make sure it looks legit. Then we take a walk around here. I love the bricks. I'm sorry, not the bricks, the stone. That's typically done for proper drainage. Looks like two planks are missing. My spot checks are not just about skating. My background is in architecture. I've been working in architecture for over 25 years, and like doctors practice medicine, I would argue that I practice architecture. There's different types of architectures, and there's countless fields within architecture and engineering. People study architecture and think all you're gonna do is design. People study engineering and think all you're gonna do is math and calculations, but sometimes you end up doing very niche specific tasks. You might just be masonry, you might just be electrical or lighting or plumbing. You might only do schools, you might only do code violations or renovations, you might only do DOT and plumbing, or you might only deal with vegetation, trees, and plants and parks department. So the possibilities of working in the field of architecture and engineering are near limitless, right? The natural world around us is all considered architecture. Right, so here you have some smaller challenges. All right, this is very easy to just roll and hop into here, create some lines, hop back out. Very big, beautiful sidewalk cameras, right? Everywhere you go. Why wouldn't you want to protect this beautiful landscape architecture with cameras? I think this is one of those challenges that to me might be most interesting that I'm approaching. And the reason being is not because of the rail necessarily, but how it's positioned. I love a challenge that forces you to gap a certain distance and then gap back out. Obviously this grate might be in the way, but it's still doable. Even as a challenge, if you can't roll here, if you don't have wood to roll and then gap to the rail, you can hop, roll, grind, hop back out. Or even grind, transfer, hop out. So to me, this is beautiful. My specialty has always been fire safety violations, specifically EAP fire safety plans and fire protection plans. So things like this are things that I would document in my day-to-day. Just sharing some FYI information about my background in architecture. This is a fire department connection. Sorry, I'm zoomed in. This is fire department connection. It's often mistakenly, or I shouldn't say mistakenly, but it's often called Siamese connection. And Siamese is based on Siamese twins, right? It's a dual connection. Some buildings which are not really up to code, or even an older code, will only have one connection. But for fire safety, you should typically have two, and it's usually just known as a two-way FDC, two-way fire department connection, as opposed to a Siamese connection. So when you see signs that say Siamese connection, those technically need to be updated and revised. So here we can already notice there's some, you know, like a screw missing on this end. Put this back. These things are not cheap by any means, but yeah, this is interesting if you wanted to skate this rail and then hop back out. And let's see what's around the corner. Oh, wow. Camera, right? This is absolutely beautiful. Look at that. Beautiful library. Looks like exterior electrical GFCI outlet. All right. Sprinkler heads, camera, water hose bib. And this is like a polished, finished stone masonry. This building is absolutely gorgeous. Stair D looks like fire exit. Another water hose bib. I'm gonna walk along this path right here. Oh, what people also don't realize is a lot of vegetation and landscape architecture helps absorb the heat. I forget the term, but it's the heat something. I fucking forget. But let's just take a look at this side, see if there's anything here to skate. Holy shit. Beautiful. This is the Bronx Terminal Market across the street. You got some gas and water pipes. Another fire department connection. Yellow means that it's combination standpipe and sprinklers. That is the future of how most buildings are designed. Older buildings will have red and green or just red, depending on the code that they need to meet. Wow, look at this. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Holy shit, this building takes up an entire Bronx block from East 150th Street to the middle of whatever that street is. And here we see the same kind of gate lock system. It's a little bit tighter here, I'm sure for obvious reasons, but you do have a lot of long runway. Long runway means you can probably hit this and then hop down onto that and grind. This looks like you can roll, jump, roll, hop, roll. Just a lot. I'm gonna go take a look just so you guys have a good picture. Miss, I'm just filming. Bronx Elementary School. This is very high. This is guardrail height, probably 42 inches, right? But that's a challenge. Gapping this is not possible with that runway. All of this is capped. This is definitely a challenge, right? Cameras everywhere, but it's beautiful. Beautiful ventilation, trash cans. And then you've got this side with cameras everywhere and speakers to alert you. Right, so clearly you can roll, hop, hop. You can do this little 1, 2, 3, 4 stair, hop, hop. This is also beautiful for parkour. You know, I think people forget that. Let's see what's over this side. Oh, this is absolutely beautiful. Oh. Beautiful, beautiful cameras everywhere. Bike racks, drain, just amazing architecture. Right across the street, you've got Home Depot, Target, BJ's, Best Buy, Food Bazaar, Burlington, I think might be closed. Sheesh. That's a well monitoring point. Woo, fucking sweating. And here we come full circle to this corner at River Ave. More bike racks, and here you see more of the same architecture I had pointed out earlier. This is definitely a very doable challenge to roll, hop about 4 feet to that, roll. If you're really good, you could probably roll and then hit a wall ride, but then you have nowhere to go unless you put some wood. Otherwise, you would just roll and gap out. Anyways, that's your spot check. Peace, love, blessings. And this is your fear required boss. I just want you to see the building from a distance. Massive, massive, massive.